An addictive substance is a non-essential element, meaning it is not necessary to maintain or sustain life. These chemicals can impact the nervous system by producing a sensation of satisfaction as it creates the desire or craving and need, the physiological dependency, for more of the element. After the element has repeatedly been used, the changed nervous system now defines the element as being necessary for life, as necessary as oxygen, food, water, shelter, and even relationships. Eventually, this element is seen as being more necessary for life than any of the other elements, and the addictive individual is willing to sacrifice any of the other elements to get more of the addictive substance. The Merriam-Webster definition of addiction is the compulsive need for and use of a habit-forming substance characterized by tolerance and by well-defined physiological symptoms based on withdrawal. Broadly, it is persistent, compulsive use of a substance known by the user to be harmful. These addictive elements work in several different ways. They can mimic a natural neurotransmitter and activate a nerve cell directly, or they can cause an increased release of a natural neurotransmitter. They can cause a delay in the removal of a natural neurotransmitter, or they can attach to a receptor and block the action of a neurotransmitter. What they all share in common is that to varying degrees, they all cause an increased release of dopamine in the nucleus accumbens. This release of dopamine labels the element as a reward and facilitates memory of the environment associated with the reward. Narcotics mimic the action of the body's naturally occurring opiate-like substances called endorphins, enkephalins, and dynorphin. There are three types of opioid receptors present throughout the brain: the mu, delta, and kappa receptors. Narcotics have most of their effect on the mu receptors, of which there are 7 subtypes. The body's natural opioids attach to one or more of these receptor types to regulate hunger, thirst, mood, immune response, and awareness of painful stimuli. In the brainstem, the opioid receptors are active in regulating blood pressure, alertness, and breathing. The opiate molecule. When an opiate attaches to a mu or delta receptor in the brain, it reduces the excitability of that neuron, producing a sensation of calm and euphoria. When the opiate attaches to a mu receptor in the ventral tegmental area of the brain, it acts to reduce the excitability of the GABAergic neurons, causing less inhibition in the release of dopamine in the nucleus accumbens. This, in effect, increases the amount of dopamine in the nucleus accumbens, thus activating the reward pathway. Ongoing receptor activation by opiates results in several adaptations in the neurons. When this adaptation occurs, more opioids are required to get a previous effect. The neurons have developed a condition called tolerance, where the cell is less sensitive to the action of opioids. The cells adapt by changing their structure to make them less sensitive to opioids, or they can internalize their receptors to make less of them available on the surface of the cell membrane. The internalization occurs by the cell membrane covering the receptor and pulling it into the body of the cell. The cell is now more resistant to the action of the opioid. A condition of increased sensitivity to painful stimuli can also occur with ongoing use of opiates. This condition is called opioid-induced hyperalgesia and can present as either hyperesthesia, a condition where there is a dramatic increase in sensitivity to painful stimuli, or allodynia, a condition where the pain is brought about by stimuli that would normally not cause pain. This condition of increased pain is caused by the opiates increasing the activation of glutamate NMDA receptors in the spinal neurons that make them more sensitive to painful stimuli, and by increasing spinal cholecystokinin and dynorphin, which causes an amplification of painful stimuli presented to the spinal cord. For additional references and help, please contact the Fractured Resilience website. And to be notified of future videos and podcasts, subscribe to the Fractured Resilience YouTube channel. Thank you.